It's Al Cole from CBS Radio, host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, cluing you in that in our 21st century, I'll tell you, products and services are sold through video. That's right, so sell it through video at Al Cole Enterprises and SAG 14 Production Company. You got it, and right now you got it too. Enjoy another outstanding audio clip from our international guest list featuring my son, the fantastic Benji Cole, on People of Distinction.
And on the line with us today, we have Christopher Graham. We'll be discussing his fantastic book, Mary, available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I will say, Chris was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business, Ingress Advertising Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, move it through Ingress. You can find them at ingressadvertising.com. And guys, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Chris here on the line because his book, Mary, that we're discussing today, it was made for the purposes of entertainment, but there's going to be a wonderful education, or at least an exploration that we'll be able to embark upon. And I'm so glad that we have him here because, listen, first and foremost, we all know the story of Jesus, right? And we know about his crucifixion and we know about Mary, but a lot of times, and I don't know, maybe just speaking from my own experience, the extent of the information that I know about Mary, and whenever that is brought up for discussion, we always talk about the birth of Jesus, right? And what I love so much about this narrative is Chris actually took it a step beyond that. And he went more in depth in terms of not only the birth, but also the role that she played in the crucifixion and how she was also on trial. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Mary, tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, it had started, probably over 20 years ago. I was looking for information, knowledge, about what took place between the crucifixion and the resurrection. What happened during this period of time? Okay, it's like, what did the apostles do? What did the family members do during this period of time? I searched fiction, nonfiction, and I really couldn't find anything. So I started to do some research, with a couple friends of mine who were priests, and they pointed me in directions of, of sources, that aren't necessarily biblical. Okay, they're not part of the canonical Bibles, but they're part of the Gnostic Bibles and some other, historical, biblical, sources. And I found the story about Mary. While I was looking for the apostles, I found the story about Mary. The story, leads to when Mary is, at the very beginning, the birth story. An angel appears to Mary and tells Mary, blessed, is the fruit of your womb. You're found favor with God, and He wants you to be, His, the mother of His child. Okay, we know that. We also know that Mary was, in the temple, living as a handmaiden in the temple at that point in time when the angel appeared to her. She wasn't living at home. She was living in the temple in Jerusalem. And so she was probably about, somewhere between 13, 14 years old when this took place. And so, when the angel comes and tells her that she's pregnant, she's going to have a child, she says yes. Okay, this is where the story begins. But then she becomes betrothed to Joseph, her husband, and, he goes and he tells, the priests or the rabbis, in the temple that she's pregnant. Okay, and in the Gospels, it says that, he had a lapse of judgment and he went in and apologized and said, hey, I'll marry her anyway because, I don't want to bring shame to her family. But, Mary came in and they appeared, to the rabbis, with regards to her being pregnant because, who was she with? How did she get pregnant? Well, openly, she said that an angel appeared to her and she conceived a child of the Holy Spirit, and their child was going to be the child of God. So here we are at the beginning, where, the ruling body doesn't believe that Mary, conceived through the Holy Spirit, is what we're taught. And, they put her through this test, determine whether or not she's a virgin or not, and then she survives the test, and they send her on her way. This is before, Jesus is born, and it's part of the Mary story.
It's Al Cole from CBS Radio, host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, cluing you in that in our 21st century, I'll tell you, products and services are sold through video. That's right, so sell it through video at Al Cole Enterprises and SAG 14 Production Company. You got it, and look forward to enjoying other outstanding audio clips from our international guest list featuring my son, the fantastic Benji Cole, on People of Distinction.